Welcome back to Kiln Forge. I'm going to be hand sanding I'm going to be hand sanding the Frankenstein's Hunter. Today is June 22nd, Sunday evening. It's a little tedious, so let's get to it. Starting off with 60 grit. Wrapping my, handle, little piece of steel. And away we go. Add a little WD-40. After a while, your thumbs start to cramp. Wipe off some of the dust. And continue sanding. All right, that's it for the 60. Now, the purpose of this, I'm not sure if you can see. You can see right here, there's scratches going this way. What I'm trying to do is with the different grits, as I get higher in grit, those scratches will be taken out. So bear with me. Moving on to 80 grit. Wipe off the WD-40, and then we continue sanding dry. Now the trick is, when doing this, you want to have the edge a little inset on the piece of wood so you don't slice your hand open. I learned that the hard way. Wipe off the dust, flip sides, and continue. And sometimes I get a little too enthusiastic and I slam my knuckle into the C-clamp that's holding the blade. That's, risks of the job. You get bruised knuckles. All right, moving on to 100 grit. A little bit of WD-40, and away we go. Okay, finishing up with the 100 grit. I'll show you the blade, and a lot of those horizontal scratches you can see are pretty much gone. There's a few right here, so I'm going to continue going, and then if those don't disappear, I will start over. Okay. Now we're moving on to 120 grit. Like I said, this is, if you want to know what this is, you look up tedious, and well, it says hand sanding knives. Go to the dictionary, and it shows a picture of me rubbing my thumbs raw. A little bit of WD-40, and off to the races. Trying to get those vertical scratches out right here in that groove. And that's it for the 120. Moving on to 150. Let's wipe some of this dust off. Get it all over my jacket. It's another thing with the sharp edge. Be careful wiping off the dust. Very well may cut your finger open, which I've learned. So, wrapping the 150. How's everyone's day been? Hope you've all had a wonderful day. Alrighty. A little bit of WD-40. Helps break up the carbon as I sand. And away we go. Okay, moving on to 180. Like I said, this is a process. Go all the way up to 3,000. And this is just for this side of the knife. I got to do the same process for the other side. But I'll show you the blade here in a second. Set that down. Wipe this off. And you can see a lot of those scratches are no longer there. Well, obviously this is going to be covered up with handle material. That will help with the epoxy sticking to the handle. So I'm not too concerned about that. But this area, all right. And on to 180. I'm not using WD-40, I'm just going dry. call it a dry rub. All right, moving right along on to 220. Thumbs get rubbed a little raw, but you know, it's fun. Now, as you get up into 220, 320, 400 grit, you'll start to notice that you're getting more of a reflection, more of a mirrored finish. It was getting a little warm, so I had to take the jacket off. On to 320. Thank you for joining me with this. Keep me company. If you have any questions, be sure to drop a comment and I will respond. Don't forget, please like and subscribe. That way I can bring you more content. And we're about to move on to the 400. When I get up into the 400, or 400 and higher, instead of using WD-40, I start using glass cleaner as a let's go ahead and put the 400 on. Wipe off all the carbon dust. Give it a little spritz. And we're off to the races. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get all the little scratches out, and the higher grit that I take it to, the better the pattern comes out when I put it in the acid to etch it. So do one thing to get another result. You know, they say, if you love what you do, you never work in your lifetime. And I do love what I do. Moving on to the 500 grit. Wrap it on nice and tight. Take a little spritz of the glass cleaner. Moving on to 600 grit. So as we get higher in grit, they have a tendency to jump. So next one will be 800 because I don't have any 700. And then from 800 we go to 1,000. Again, thank you for joining me on this journey. Hit that like button, subscribe. And one of these days, I'll hold a raffle for one of the knives I make. See if you guys can't get one of them. If you're interested in any of my knives or any of my merchandise, you can visit my website, killamforge.com. That's it for the 600 grit. Got bit by a mosquito. Moving on to 800. After I do 800, I'll show you starting to get a nice reflective shine. And away we go with 800. Okay, that's it for the 800. And you can see you got a nice reflection in the blade. Now we're moving on to 1,000. Trying to do this on my phone is, not the easiest. One of these days I'll have to break down and get a camera to record these. It'll be a lot easier to edit. Thing is, I'm not very tech savvy. You might say I'm tech illiterate. And now starting with 1,000. Wipe it down real quick. This is the last of 1,000 grit. We're going to move on to 1,200. Yeah, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, then 3,000. I'm going to forego the window cleaner. Just do a dry run, and then I'll use the window cleaner with the 1,500. That's it for the 1,500, or I'm sorry, 1,200. Now on to the 15. Little spritz of the Windex. Dry it off. Let's see if you can see the... Oh, let me switch views. Ooh, it's looking shiny. Then you got the light above it. But been good so far. Continuing with the 1,500. So I'm going to be doing this as well on the spine and belly of the handle. Try to make it, probably won't go up as high as 3,000. Probably go up to maybe 800. We'll see. Moving right along to the 2,000 grit. Sorry, gotta balance my phone. Throw those in the recycling. And continue with the 2000. Had to get a clean paper towel so I'm not just rubbing the carbon dust on the blade. And we're finishing up with the 2000. Moving on to 2500. Give it a nice little wipe down. Wrap it nice and tight. And sand away. And we're finishing up with 2500. Last but not least is the 3000. Give it a little wipe down. Lean back, look at the reflection. Almost like a mirror. A little bit of Windex. And that is the last grit of sandpaper for this side of the blade. That's 3000, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ta-da! Look at that shine. Now I get to do the other side. Now it's the same process for the other side. I've got a piece of paper towel underneath so it doesn't dirty the side that I just did. As you can see, I've got those vertical scratches in here that I want to get out. You got some little bit of scale. Clean up my maker's mark. But I'm not going to bore you with this. I'll do a little editing and continue the video when I'm done. Just want to make sure my camera doesn't shut off.